Okay, this is my audience. Okay. And that little light at the bottom is flashing.
Yes.
Okay. 1 1,000, 2 1,000. Did you know you could be a hero in just 60 minutes or less? You can also chat with others in a pleasant atmosphere, and afterwards have some milk and cookies. Interested? Want to learn more? Oh, by the way, I counted out 2 seconds, and that is, according to the America's Blood Centers, just this year, which is a joint Canadian and U.S. operation, how often a person needs a blood transfusion. Where does all this blood come from? It comes from everyday heroes like you and I. Now I know you know how important blood is. You got red blood cells that carry oxygen. You got white blood cells that fight infection. You have platelets that cause your blood to clot when it needs to. But why do I want you to donate blood? Well, here's a little story. I am a respiratory therapist, and one night, as I was working in the cardiac surgical unit, they brought back a patient, and the surgeon said, do everything you can to keep this patient from coming back to surgery. We are out of his blood type, and we have no more O negative in the county. We did everything we could to keep him from going back to surgery. But that got me to thinking about being a blood donor. So the next time that there was a blood drive at work, I signed up. Now, I want you to know, because of that, I've been a blood donor for over 20 years. I want to talk to you a little bit about why you should become a blood donor, the different ways blood is used, and the requirements to be a blood donor. Maybe you never thought about being a blood donor, but what if somebody in your family needed a blood donation and there was no blood of their type? What would you do? The amount of blood needed is staggering. According to America's Blood Centers, their website is www.americasblood.org, updated in 2012, 1 in 7 people admitted to the hospital need a blood transfusion. That's 38,000 pints a day in the U.S. alone. 4.5 million people a year need a blood donation. That's according to the New York Blood Centers, www.nybc.org, also August of this year. Okay, so now you get the point. You know that blood is needed, but how is it used? Well, it can be used in one of 4 ways, and to treat a whole list of problems. According to the Singapore Health Services Authority, which is www.hsa.gov.sg, updated in July of 2010, states that blood can be used whole or separated into its component parts. Whole blood is used for mass transfusions for traumas. Red blood cells is used for anemia due to usually surgeries. Platelets, which are the clotting factors, and then after all of those things have been removed, you have what's left is the plasma, and that also has other clotting factors that can be used. The British website, www.blood.co.uk, updated their 2012 list of 9 top reasons blood is needed. So 23% are needed by people who are anemic. 14% are needed by people who have orthopedic surgeries. 15% are needed by people who have blood disorders, such as leukemia. 10% are needed by people who have gastrointestinal bleeding. 10% is just general surgeries. 6% is cardiac surgeries. 6% are post-birth bleeding. 5% is for vascular surgeries, and then 3% is for urological procedures. Now that you're all fired up and you're ready to be that blood donor, what do you need to do? What are the requirements? There's very, very specific requirements. The Red Cross website at www.redcrossblood.org has info on what you need to do to be a blood donor. As of 2012, the requirements are you must be 17 years old or 16 with parental permission, good health, and if you are 18 or under, you have to be 130 pounds. If you are over 19 or over, you have to be 110 pounds. Now, another website that has more information is from the Adams County, Indiana Red Cross. Their site is www.adamscountyredcross.com, and their 2012 update says that there are certain things that can disqualify you, such as medication use, basically things that would cause your blood to be thinned, like aspirin or Plavix or anything that you would use for a blood thinner. Also risky behaviors and travel to certain countries. Okay, so have I persuaded you now to be a blood donor? It's pretty simple, right? So one last plea. Remember, 1 in 7 people need blood every single day that's admitted to the hospital. That's 38,000 pints of blood a day. 4.5 million people a year will need blood. Your blood can save 3 lives. The red blood cells can be used, the platelets can be used, and the plasma can be used. There's many disorders that a transfusion can treat, and you need to meet certain age, weight, and health requirements. There you have it. Now, pick up that phone, call your local blood donation center, and make that appointment. You too can be an everyday hero.